Hello, my people, how are you all? Welcome back to your channel, Mr. Madras. In September this year, CMDA announced a bioremediation process to be undertaken in a pilot stretch of Buckingham Canal to revive the water body. Join me in discovering how the rivers and canals of Madras came to be, their current state, and whether this pilot project will open the rivers back for commercial use like in those ages. All we have is 10 minutes, so let's jump right into this episode. Rewind to the year 1600 when videography, or for that matter even cameras, weren't invented then. So I've used my basic animation skills to take you through how the present day Madras and its pristine natural water system used to be. From the northwest, a branch of Kosithalai river flowed eastward and near the sea formed an island before draining into the bay. This river was known as the Coovum and the island was the present day island grounds. Likewise, from the southwest, an offshoot from the present-day Chembrampakkam tank headed east and circled around an island before meeting the bay. This was the Adayar river, and the encircled island was the present-day MRC Nagar. A flock of birds from above would have had this view of this beautiful piece of land from those days. Through inland navigation techniques of those times, both rivers carried goods and people from the hinterland to the sea. And then came the outsiders, the British, in 1639, north of the Coovum, and set up their fort, from when the whole history of this land would be written. Around the 19th century, through the then Governor Buckingham's project, a nearly 60-meter wide canal originating from the present-day Andhra Pradesh met Coovum at the present-day Park Town. From there, it continued southward till Mylapore village and strangely deviated westward. My guess is one of two reasons: because the locality was well urbanized and populated by that time, or the British discovered a very rocky bed of Mylapore and avoided it. Interesting that today's metro construction in Mylapore is going through the same boring problem through the rocks. Do check out my vlog on Mylapore Metro after watching this episode. This canal would then meet Adayar near the present-day Madras Boat Club and proceed southward. The Buckingham Canal ends provided a never-before connection between the two natural rivers for intra-city navigation of people and produce. Like shown in the movie Madrasapatnam, until independence, this navigation system seemed to have been alive and thriving. The topic apart, a big praise for the director and the art team of this movie Madrasapatnam, who simply used pictorial archives of the Madras from pre-independence and created such beautiful renditions of the past and weaved a love story around it. But between the 50s and 70s, due to industrialization and lack of urban governance, the rivers and the canal were misused for human and industrial waste disposal. The government of the 70s is said to have tried to revive these rivers using 2 crores of money from those times. Dredging of the river was taken as phase 1 of the project in 1967, and then in 1970, steps were taken to evict all the swam dwellers on the banks of the Coovum. Next came the installation of a regulator and a sand pump at the mouth of the river. Also, 8 boating jetties were built all along the river, but nobody had contended with the volume of sand accumulating at the mouth. Also, technical difficulties soon arose with the pump. The boat rides that took place between Napier Bridge and Chetpet had soon had to be given up. So back to 2023, in September, the CMDA reported that it is initiating a remediation measure to restore the waterways. Let's analyze the Buckingham Canal first, which may be the easiest. There is an attempt to clean the polluted Buckingham Canal using a bioremediation process. This process involves releasing a mix of bioculture and water into the canal pipelines, and its outcome will be known in 3 months. So this is being carried out by a firm named Biox Green, and the stretch identified for pilot is from Valaja Road in the north to Bharati Salai in the south. 5 white barrels with about 500 liters of bioculture and 1500 liters of water will be released into the canal. Bioculture has microbes which will degrade the pollutants and restore the eco balance. So this can't be done through the entire stretch, so Biox Green just split the stretch into 5 dosing points from Valaja Road to Bharati Salai. So a bund will also be created ahead to intensify the remediation. This process will be futile if the sewage points are not plugged, however. But if successful, the same will be implemented in the nearby Coovum around the island grounds water, which will become stench free, and boating may be introduced next year. Now let's move back to the Coovum and Adayar rivers. The eco-restoration of these two natural rivers is a much more complicated process than for the Buckingham Canal. First, these rivers, which were 60 meters wide on an average, have narrowed down to 20 meters in most parts due to encroachment and settlement by the slum dwellers. Second, the banks have become weak and give way during floods. Third, an unbelievable number of sewage pipes drain into the rivers. First, these decayed rivers need to be dredged, widened, and strengthened on the banks as they will be flooded during each cyclonic season. For this to happen, the slum dwellers along the banks need to be evacuated and resettled. Also, sewage pipes draining into the river need to be blocked, and vegetation has to be planted along the banks for sustenance. I was very pleasantly surprised that there is a trust called the Chennai Rivers Restoration Trust to do exactly this, which even I didn't know till I made this vlog. Within this trust, there were 3 departments or projects, the first 2 being the Adayar restoration and the third one being the Coovum restoration. As I read through each of these projects, and particularly the Coovum River Restoration one, the eco-restoration plan for this river was extremely well studied, well documented, well planned. There was a vision, there were several objectives. The current state assessment of the river basins was well studied and documented. The cost and the financial returns were also well estimated, like we would if we were an IT professional or any other project management professional. The government took up restoration of both rivers at a cost of nearly 1,500 crores from 2015-16 and has so far spent 790 crores, the breakup of which you can see here. In conclusion, let us hope that the current remediation process is successful and we can sail along the Coovum in 2024 like the characters Paruthi and Amy did in Madrasapatnam 75 years ago. If you enjoyed this episode, please do press the like button and share further. Subscribe to my channel Mr. Madras for future episodes. Thanks for watching. See you next time.